All right. So in terms of resume advice, one of the first things that I found to be particularly helpful was to look into creating a master resume that has everything you have done for each section. So generally, when you're creating a resume, you're going to have a few major sections, depending on what you're applying for. This will include previous job or professional experiences, projects that you have worked on, your education, contact information, and other publications and stuff that you have worked on. So this is something where you should want to create a master resume that includes everything you have done in each of these fields. This way, if you decide to tailor this resume to the different applications that you're applying to, you'll have everything available to you. So you can just kind of cut and paste it according to what you want to apply for. So for example, if I was applying to a data science position and I had some data science and computer or software engineering experience, my master resume would include everything I've done in both of those areas. But for the data science application, I would kind of tailor my data science experience towards that one. And then maybe if I was applying for a software engineering position, I would do the same, but with my software engineering experience. That way it is easy for me to make sure I keep track of everything that I've done in the past and be able to translate that over to every single application I want to apply to. When you're actually presenting a resume for a job application, you want to make sure that is no longer than one page when you're applying to it. The reason for this is generally it is best if you're applying online. This is usually best for any sort of parsing software that they might run your resume through. And in person, keeping it short and concise is usually preferable to recruiters or other positions who are in hiring positions in the case that they are looking at many hundreds of resumes per day. Another stylistic choice is to use bullet points. So a good formula that I would like to abide by is to use an action verb plus the project plus the result. This will produce a successful bullet as it keeps all the information you need concise, but still provides it in a powerful and impactful way. You'll also want to arrange these based on how important they are to the potential employer. So let's say, for example, let's use my case, right? So while I'm applying to data science positions, I only maybe have one position that I've done in the past that has been data science related, and the rest are software engineering, etc. I would want to put my data science experience first, as this is the most relevant, and then I can go down and kind of work down through my previous experiences based on relevancy. You'll also want to know that consistency is key. You'll want to keep a consistent style throughout your resume and also a consistent wording type. So if you're kind of wording your sentences in a certain way, you want to keep that type of consistency throughout the entire resume. Avoid personal pronouns. So don't necessarily use I, me, etc. Those types of pronouns are usually not preferable when writing your resume sentences, and do not fabricate information. So if you think that maybe overplaying what you've done, or even potentially faking something information to help yourself get a more favorable position, it's not advisable to do this. Generally, if you do fabricate information, kind of overplaying what you're experienced in and what you're proficient in, this can lead to negative results in the case that they might ask you about this or etc. You do not want to do this. It is always better to be honest in your resume to show a more true portrait of who you are and what you're capable of. So when it comes to a good template, let's go ahead and take a look at a good template for a resume. So one that I like to use is one that was created by HDSI last year. So here, let's kind of dissect this template a bit. So at the top, you have your name. It is nice and bold. This kind of gives your identity and kind of really sticks it in the face of whoever's reading it. This shows you that this is your name and you will remember it. On the left side, you see your contact information. So you'll want to keep any relevant contact information. So phone number, email address, your actual address. And then based off of what you're using, I would highly suggest using LinkedIn and GitHub. LinkedIn primarily for kind of having a professional social network and kind of showing your past positions, projects, etc. And GitHub for being a place where people can view your projects and be able to see the work that you put in and how you kind of achieved your process. And by the way, to those asking if these slides will be available afterwards, they will be. Once this event is complete, I'm currently recording this, so this recording will be put on YouTube, and then we'll find a way to put these slides up on our website as well. So moving forward, again, you'll want to go into your education. So that will show you a bit more about the specifics of where you go, what you do when you're expected to graduate, and any sort of extracurriculars or research opportunities that you might be involved in. This is all good information to have, and employers will really want to see what type of education you're going through. Awards. So I know that not all of us have it. I know I certainly don't. This is optional, but you can include other things here as well, but it's not necessarily necessary. But if you do have them, it would be great to include them. Key skills. So here you'll want to include some of the key skills you have. So for this one, you can go ahead and do bullet points as they're concise and easy to read and easy for machines to parse as well. So you'll want to list them in order of relevance. So this is something where you can kind of play around with based off of what you're applying to, what you kind of showcase first, and what you might not necessarily want to showcase at all. This will be up to your discretion, but the best place to start would be looking through the key descriptions for the jobs you're applying to and looking at what they're looking for and then basing it off of that. So next up for these, obviously you'll want to kind of base these on the relevancy to the job. If you are applying to certain jobs, you might not want to put projects first. You might want to put relevant experience if it's something that's based on having a lot of previous experience, as opposed to if it's something new, like a startup or like a startup software or data role, maybe like using projects can showcase your technical skills a lot more. So this is all up to your discretion. In this case, the template is using projects first. So again, you'll want to include any sort of I would say probably if you want to fit it into your one page, I would say pick one standout project that is most relevant to the position that you're going for, and then do a quick bullet point description on that project, and then obviously add a link if this is possible. So whether that be a GitHub link or Kaggle, whatever you've done, include a link to that. For relevant experience, this goes the same. Do it in relevant order. And try to, in here it says list it in reverse chronological order. That way it kind of shows your most current to previous, your most previous position to the first position you've done. And obviously keep this maybe to 1 or 2 and keep it relevant to the position you're going for. Leadership experience. This is only if you feel that it is applicable. It is not always necessary to include this, but if it is something that will boost your standing in relation to the job you're applying for, please go ahead and do this. And the same goes for membership and activities. Definitely prioritize projects and relevant experience in your resumes, but if you have space to include these, or if you feel that they're very necessary to the job you're going for, I would suggest that you go ahead and apply these to your thing as well. All right, moving on then to our next slide. So networking online. So we've just been on Zoom and we're still on Zoom. So obviously we are very familiarized with the online environment. So I'll teach you a few ways to kind of engage in networking online. The first is where to start. So the 2 major sites that are used in the context of UCSD is LinkedIn and Handshake. So LinkedIn is a social network for professionals. Think of it like Facebook, but professional. So you can use your profile as an additional resume. I know for mine, I've kitted it out with all my professional experience of past jobs and internships I've done. I have all my projects on there. I have the courses I've taken, any sort of awards I've received, etc. It's all on there. And unlike a resume, you don't necessarily have to make it super concise in terms of what you've done. You can just kind of dump all of it in there. So that is always good to have. You can also find and apply to jobs here. So I personally find LinkedIn's job searching feature to be extremely valuable because it is super powerful and you can kind of set parameters based off of what you want And then also some companies also have easy apply features for LinkedIn, which means you can just kind of click a button and it'll just submit your LinkedIn profile as your application, maybe with a few more questions on top of it. And this is super great because it can kind of give a bit more holistic picture without necessarily having to deal with the nitty gritty stuff of other application sites. You can connect with professionals. So if there is somebody at a company that you want to work for, or somebody you can connect with them through this way, and it is an easy way to engage in conversation with them and engage with the posts that they're putting out, and vice versa. You can join professional groups. So for example, I'm somebody who's super into cars. So I've, wanted to maybe potentially look into working to the automotive industry. So I've been able to join groups that are based around professionals in tech who are within the automotive industry. And it's been super great to get to connect with people through this means and kind of meet with other like-minded professionals in this area and learn a lot about the industry as a whole and kind of, what I can do to get involved with it. So that's super cool. And you can do that with, your personal interests or, careers or companies you want to work for, et cetera, any organizations. For example, if you're in a national fraternity, sorority, or organization, a lot of them will have LinkedIn pages or groups for these organizations as well. And you can get involved with those. And finally, it is a great place to publish your work. So as I said before, I have all my projects on here. So it's a great way to kind of publicize the projects I've done in the past. And kind of have it out there in the open for other people to see. The next platform is Handshake. So this is maybe something you're also pretty familiar with. Handshake allows for more university-based networking. It is more tailored specifically towards the university you're at. So you will see specifics for jobs that are hiring from or at the University of California, San Diego. You will see networking events, career fairs, and et cetera, all come up on Handshake that are tailored specifically towards UC San Diego. And it's a great resource for networking on a more person-to-person within the network of the university. So how do you use LinkedIn? So when it comes to creating your profile, one of the first things people will see after your name is your headline. So this is a little subheading that'll go beneath your name. And your headline should showcase more than just your job titles. So this is something that I kind of fell victim to earlier. I was just kind of throwing up all the positions I had and orgs and my internships and whatnot, and just kind of having it there. That's probably not beneficial to you. You will want to include more than just your job titles. I would say include your most relevant job title, and then have something about what you're excited about, be aspirational about your career, and use keywords from your field. So say something like, I'll show you an example soon, but you want to be very optimistic, very excited about what you want to do with your career and in the future. Next up is your summary. So this is going to be kind of like your bio for your profile. It should tell a story more than anything. It should say, what do you do? What inspires you, and what do you want to do with your career? So these are all kind of points that you should touch upon when you're writing out your summary. This way you can captivate anyone who's reading the summary, and they'll take more interest towards you, rather than if you're just I am a student studying data science at the UC San Diego. You want to be a bit more in depth in that. You want to show a bit more about why you do the things you do and how you do the things you do. Try to avoid buzzwords when you can. Sometimes the best words may be buzzwords, but you would want to avoid them. I think a lot of people are getting burnt out by seeing, some of these buzzwords that, are you just see them everywhere. And, you don't want to be the 1,000th person saying that you're a driven individual or something like that. You want to be a bit more individualistic. You don't want to use the same kind of words you see people using all the time. So, for example, let's take a look at a good example of how to set up a LinkedIn page. So here is one individual named Bruce Lamb. So it says here that he is a senior recruiter at Shippo. He says that he sparks joy in recruiting and enables candidates to be successful. So as you see here, he's included his role. He's showing, what he does at the company, but he also goes forward and to say he's very aspirational about what his role really entails in the grand scheme of things. It is a very broad sentence, but it's one that really kind of shows you the type of, passion he has for what he does. So if you look at his bio, you'll see that he goes more into he gives a little story about how he helps people and, what helping people does in terms of, their careers. And then he also goes into his actual skill sets. He includes that, he helps people in areas such as engineering, sales, management, UX, etc. And he says, when he's not doing his job, he lists some other things he's passionate about and, things he does in his free time to give a bit more of a personal take to him. So these are all very good things to have in your LinkedIn bio that make you seem more, personable and more, more of like an individualistic person, which is super important when it comes to setting up your LinkedIn page. Beyond this, you'll also want to grow your network. So I know when I first started my LinkedIn, the first thing I did was connect with my friends and family. This is your first line of, people to connect to, because you honestly don't even need to try. And it helps kind of boost your numbers a bit more. And it also kind of helps you get in connection with, some of the people that they also might know. From here, you'll want to connect with your school alumni as well. You'll want to connect with people at places you want to work as well. So for those last two, you'll need to take a bit more of a serious approach than you do with the friends and family. From here, the approach will be different for the different cases of connecting. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you. Oh. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. Sorry, hold up. So this link right here, I found is super important. There's a lot to go over that I most likely cannot fit into this session. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat, but essentially this is a super useful link that I saw. Essentially, when you're reaching out to people to connect with them, you'll want to send them a personalized message. But this personalized message can kind of be modified off a base template based off of what you're doing. And I found this to be a great way to kind of reach out to people at companies that I want to work for and alumni at the school who are in industries I want to work for. And it's helped me really launch some really great conversations and kind of get my foot in the door a bit more at some of the companies that I really want to work for, like get my name a bit more recognized. So it's definitely something that all of you can utilize as well. And it's a super powerful, way to go about networking. Beyond this, again, list your relevant skills. So LinkedIn has a skills section at the bottom of your profile. So, whatever you're good at, I would highly recommend that you, put it down, especially because when you're applying to a lot of jobs in LinkedIn, it'll actually show you, of the skills that this job wants, which ones you have. So if you match a lot of them, it can really shoot you up in the rankings for, how the recruiters view you when you apply to these jobs. Post projects, papers, and classes that you have worked on. These are all good for if somebody is interested in hiring you. They can take a look at your past work and see kind of how you operate, what your areas of expertise are, and what you really specialize in. LinkedIn also has skill assessments and skills you're proficient in. So for example, for the many different coding languages, they'll have skills assessments where you can take a test that is anywhere between 8 to 15 questions long. And if you get a certain percentage of them right, you will get a little badge on your LinkedIn page that shows that you're proficient in that skill. So let's say like I'm proficient in Python, I can take this quiz and I can show that, LinkedIn has certified me as someone who's proficient in Python. And this can help for when you're applying to jobs. Request recommendations, endorsements from people you have worked with. A glowing endorsement on your page can really go a long way in building confidence in other people for you. And it can really help boost your cred in terms of, your skill set and what you do. Because it's one thing if you just, good at classes and stuff. It's another thing if somebody gives you a glowing recommendation for how, how good you are at what you did. And then finally, have a sharp profile picture and banner background. So the banner background can be anything you're kind of like passionate about. I know for me personally, I love San Diego because I'm from the East Coast and there's nothing like it there. So I have a picture of San Diego of the kind of like a coastline to kind of show my love for that. So that's like my background. And then I have a headshot of myself in a suit for my profile picture. And that's something I want to improve on. So definitely have a good, sharp profile picture because you can really set a good first impression when people see that. So using Handshake. So Handshake works somewhat similar to LinkedIn. You'll want to keep your profile and available resume up to date on here. So if you ever make any changes to your resume, make sure you upload it to Handshake each time you do that so it's up to date, and update any sort of information related to your jobs, professional experiences, any sort of organizations you're in, and etc. Also, use Handshake to engage in campus-based networking and recruitment events. So Handshake is where a lot of the UC San Diego career fairs are held. So I'd highly encourage you all to take advantage of that and get to talk to some recruiters and employees at some of these companies that you want to work for. Handshake provides a great way to do that. In addition, recruiters may reach out to you because when recruiters come directly to universities, they'll reach out to people who fit their criteria. If they do, be sure to keep in contact with them at the companies you want to work for. Make sure you keep that dialogue going. Maybe try to set up a call with them and learn more about the role and kind of what needs to be done for it. And this way you can kind of build a good reputation amongst recruiters with yourself. You can also apply to jobs that are a bit more tailored towards UC San Diego, as you see in that screenshot there. So be sure to use that if you see any companies that you want to work for. So next we will move into networking at UCSD. So the first step that I always recommend is to engage with alumni. So UC San Diego has a platform called Tritons Connect, and it's something that not a lot of people are aware of, but I think it is something that a lot of people should be aware of. So Tritons Connect allows you to engage in professional networking with UC San Diego alumni. It also allows you to attend networking events at UCSD. So if you, whether it be through DS3, where we hold networking events like this, or other organizations, you should be taking advantage of this because alumni who are engaged with UC San Diego after they graduate are usually people who really want to see the student body succeed. And so they're more likely to help you kind of work through any troubles you're having, or maybe make that connection for you at a company you want to work for, and et cetera. They're usually very, very helpful. So let's give you a little showcase of Tritons Connect. So I'm going to go into my Tritons Connect account and let's take a look at it. So as you see, Tritons Connect is kind of like designed to be somewhat similar to a social media application. So as you can see here, I have a feed, and you'll see that, here's somebody who is an alumni who's looking for, people to fill out certain surveys. You'll see just alumni engaging with the community in a really positive way. And so from here, you can take a look at different things such as the directory, which will show you different alumni and kind of what they do and whether they're willing to help. So if it says willing to help, this means that they're willing to, talk to current students and kind of help them in certain areas. So if you see an alumni working at a company that you want to work for, or an industry that you want to work for, and they say willing to help, I would highly recommend reaching out to them because, that would really help you with your career. In addition, Tritons Connect also allows for mentoring. So if you go to this mentoring tab on the right or left, sorry, you'll be able to see alumni who want to mentor you. So this can be super helpful because it gives you someone to talk to about, a lot of different things, whether it be life advice, career advice, etc. And they can kind of help you figure out what steps you need to take to get, your dream job or pursue your dream opportunities, whether it be in entrepreneurship or working in a certain field or going to higher education. These are all great connections to have. Beyond this, there's also jobs. So as you can see here, there are job listings, that are being run by the Alumni Network. So you can see multiple different jobs. See, for example, we have like systems test engineer, software development engineer, all these jobs are available. And because it's directly through UCSD alum, chances are they might be willing to help you a lot with kind of succeeding in some of these roles. So that is Trends Connect. I would highly suggest that you all make an account through Trends Connect after this event. It is super helpful. It is a great resource. I know I've had a lot of great talks to alumni using this, so I would suggest that y'all would want to set it up too. So moving on, you'll want to connect with your professors. Your professors are super great for connecting with, as they can offer you a lot of advice. They can help you a lot with, some of the skills you want, and then they can also help connect you with other people who might be in the industries or areas that you want to get involved with. So in order to do this, stay involved in your classes. Be sure to ask and answer questions and show interest in the subject material of your class. Attend office hours. This will help you to better connect with your professors. It will also help you learn more about the topics in your classes. So if you show up to office hours a lot, it shows interest in the class, and your professors will also, get to know you a bit better, remember your face, remember your name, and that is always, a good impression to have. So I personally say connection plus knowledge is a winning combination. So stay in contact even after you finish your class, check in with them, maybe go to their office a few times, just, email them a few times, just stay in touch with them. And this will go a long way in helping you with your connections and networking at UC San Diego. Network with your peers. So your friends and peers and classmates are also very great for networking. And because, you're friends with them, this, is kind of just like friends helping out friends. And it can, create a really strong community within our university. So, share experiences with things such as interviews, study practices, and networking. You can help learn more about experiences at different companies and organizations. I know, like, I've learned a lot about the internship I did this past summer at Cisco, because I talked to some of my peers who had interned at Cisco in the past before. So I learned a lot about the way things work there. And I wasn't, as lost going into that because I came in with that knowledge. So it's really great to, just be able to have those talks with people. And yeah, definitely don't underestimate networking with your peers. And there's also the UCSD Career Center, which is a super valuable resource when it comes to networking and professional development. You can receive guidance on connecting with employers and recruiters. You can also attend events and workshops that they put on. I know for me personally, one of my favorite ones is where they kind of bring out a lot of they partner with the basement and they bring out some startups, and you get to really see a lot of these cool startups and like see, what they're working on and what kind of positions that they have open to kind of like get involved in the ground floor. So that's something you're like super interested in. Career Service Centers has that, and you can, get involved with the startup scene, which I personally love. You can also meet with career advisors who will help you with the steps of the job finding process. So whether this be, figuring out what to do when you're applying, maybe finding people to talk to before you apply, finding connections within companies that you want to apply for, they're there to help you, and they will help you a lot. So that's kind of it for today's workshop. So please add me on LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn. I would love to connect with all of you. And beyond that, I'll kind of open the floor up to any questions. So does anyone have any questions about anything I went over today? I'm gonna go with a no. So that's it. Then thank you all for watching and tuning in today. So this information will be up soon once we can kind of get the recording all settled down and posted. Y'all can check out these slides, and we'll have these slides up later as well. So yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a great night, and stay safe out there. Take care, everybody.